Good morning, everybody. If you don't know me, I'm Reverend Elisha Christopher. I'm the spiritual director here at the center. It's good to be home. I got to spend Christmas in Nashville with my family this year, and just got home. And it was good to be gone, but it's good to be back. So we're going to begin by taking a few breaths, and then we'll just move from there. So exhale first, let it all out, and take a deep breath in. Let it go. Deep breath, breathe in. Let go. One more collective breath. Let's breathe in and let go. So throughout this year of 2023, we've been exploring this theme, living out loud. And each month we've taken a little piece of that theme and we've been chewing on it and exploring it. But really this whole year has been about the invitation for each one of us to really reach down to the truth of who we are and let that out into the world. Right? So much of, I think, the pain that we experience in life is keeping who we are inside. Right? As someone who's had the privilege of coming out a few times in my life, there's something about the freedom of letting the truth of who we are shine, of truly accepting that within ourselves and being willing to accept that truth as it lives and breathes and shines in each and every person that we interact with. Isn't the world that we want to live in a world where each person shines their brilliance and we love each other for it? Right? So I just want to take a few minutes and let's just take a look back at where we've been this year. I'm going to run you through the month's themes and just give you a quick little recap. So we started the year in January with root and reboot, right? We reminded ourselves that there's one core principle that we teach in this place, which is that there is one thing in all of the universe. I call it God. Some of us call it consciousness. Some of us call it energy. There's one creative force that's living and breathing in everyone and everything, creating all that is. So we rooted in that truth, and we rebooted ourselves into a new enthusiasm. In February, we moved to this idea of curiosity as a superpower. Remember, we talked about looking at the world with a curious eye, not thinking that we know everything, allowing ourselves to be surprised by the newness of life, right? The Buddhists would tell us to have that beginner's mind, right? To look at everything as if each day is brand new, to look at each situation as if maybe it has something to reveal to us that we didn't know before. From there, we moved to March. The theme was cultivating authenticity. Right? That's all about living out loud again. It's about each one of us stepping into the truth of who we are, cultivating that authentic truth, cultivating the ability to speak our truth, right? Even when our truth isn't that positive, beautiful, I'm good that we all like to share with each other. Sometimes there's authentic truths we need to share. And in that authenticity, we move to April to the power of vulnerability. Right? In order to be authentic, we have to be vulnerable with each other. We have to share our fears. We have to share our pain. We have to be willing to seen in our darkness in those moments where we're ugly crying, right? We have to be willing to be vulnerable with each other to allow the truth of who we are to be seen so that we can also trust each other, right? Vulnerability leads us to trust. In May, we then move to this idea of the light within the shadows. You see how some of these kind of lead to the next? So from that place of vulnerability, we move to the light within the shadows, looking to those dark moments in our lives, those dark night of the souls, those moments of pain where perhaps our greatest gifts are hidden, right? I know for me, some of the most difficult moments in my life have been the greatest moments of transformation when I look at it from this end as the journey leads to this direction, right? So from light within the shadows, we then said, okay, June, embracing self-care, right? If we're going to step into the darkness, if we're going to be vulnerable, if we really want to be our authentic, true selves in the world, we've got to learn to take care of ourselves. And if you remember, I got sick and had to take multiple weeks off just to take care of me. So I gave you a really great example of how not to do self-care. So Let's all learn to take care of ourselves preemptively so that we can keep showing up for the things that we're passionate about, for the people that we care about, for the things that the world is calling from us. We need our energy. We need our passion, which means we need to rest. We need to recuperate. We need to take care of ourselves in the process. From that, in July, we moved to speaking truth to circumstance, right? There's a lot of weird, partial truths floating around in our world today. There's a lot of interesting things that are coming up. There's a lot of stuff that's hard to look at. And the thing that each one of us needs to do in this time of living out loud, the invitation, is to learn to speak our truth, to really own it, to claim it, to speak up when it's time to speak up, to stand up for those who need to be stood up for or stood with, right? The opportunity to really use our voices to claim the truth, to build the world, to speak into that which we want to experience. From that, we moved into August. The theme was my passion, my purpose, right? And if you remember, if you were here, and if you're not, I'm going to pause on this one for a moment. My passion, my purpose. One of the things that I always want to remind us is that, Joseph Campbell would have told us, follow your bliss, right? To find that thing that you're here to do. What's my message? Follow your disturbance. Follow those moments of pain. Follow that thing that is up in your face that you can't not look at anymore. I guarantee you the thing you're here to do in the world is hidden in that thing that makes you uncomfortable. So each one of us, look to our disturbance. Look to the moments of pain. Look to that stuff that's right in your face and you can't not look at it anymore. The world, spirit, life is asking you to do something about it. So follow that, find your passion, and activate your purpose. From there, we moved to September, which was love out loud, right? Don't hide the love inside of you. Let us open our hearts so that we can be a people who are truly loving of each other. Because what does the world need more than anything right now? Is people who are willing to see the love, to be the love, and to share that with each other. When so much of the world wants to be in division and separation, let us be a people who are looking to bridge that with the love that we are. In October, we talked about playing with paradox, right? We have this beautiful idea, God is all there is, the universe is one thing, it's all energy, and then there's life. There's all the stuff we see every day. There's all the things that we struggle with. There's a paradox. It's all perfect. It's all God. It's all God. It's all complete. It's all energy. And yet, it hurts. There's pain. We struggle. And to live in the both and of these truths, to be able to look for wholeness in our bodies when we feel sick, to look for love in the world when we see hate, that's our spiritual practice, is to look for the truth even when not truth seems to be showing up in front of us. After that, we went to November. We talked about the mundane, the sacred, and the profane. Oh my. We talked about how the nature of the universe is that all things are sacred. And yet we tell ourselves that there are activities in our life that are not sacred. There are places, there are people, there are experiences that we deem as being anti-sacred or not sacred or just the plain mundane of life. But really the opportunity is here for us every single day to see the miracle in every breath, to see the miracle in every step, to see God in the eyes of every person looking back at us. The sacred is everywhere if we're willing to look for it. It's just waiting for us to see it. And then from there, in December, our theme this month has been living wholeness. Really about just embracing the wholeness of this life experience. That all of it is encapsulated in this one mind, this one life, this one power and presence that I call God. You can call it whatever you want. It's the one thing, life itself. And that there's an opportunity for us in this whole year's exploration of living out loud to just invite each one of us to be the biggest possible versions of who we could be in this world. My teacher, Gene Houston, says that we need to become mythic because the problems of our world are mythic. The issues of our time are so big that they feel like these great, insurpassable stories or magnificent problems that we could never overcome. So in this idea of living out loud is the invitation for each one of us to rise into the greatest possible version, the biggest possible story for who you are, for what is happening in the world, for each one of our place in it. Because if we can conceive of ourselves as being as mythic and as magnificent and as powerful as we see the problems of the world being, then we can be a people who have the ability to rise above them and bring about new ideas, to build that world that works for everyone, to dedicate ourselves to possibility, right? So, in January, next week, we're starting a whole new year, which is a whole new theme, and next year's theme is a grand rising. And I think we get to play with paradox with this one a little bit, because it makes me think, I look out in the world and there is a grand rising taking place. The global temperature is hotter than it's ever been before, right? There seems to be a whole lot of division, a whole lot of pain, a whole lot of stuff rising up that looks a whole lot like what we don't want, right? So there is already a grand rising taking place. What we have to become this year is we have to rise to meet it. Right? We have to become, as all of that in the world is rising up, we have to rise up to meet it, to become the place where it changes. Right? Michael Beckwith tells us that the pain pushes until the vision pulls. Well, the pain is arising, my friends. So are we going to use that pain? Are we going to use all that's rising in the world as the invitation for us to rise up into being more than we've ever been before? Let this community of Center for Spiritual Living rise into that which it's never been before. Let each one of us rise into new levels of possibility, new levels of doing, new levels of self-acceptance, new levels of loving of each other, new levels of stepping up and stepping out into the world for the things that we believe in. What would it look like this next year for each one of us to truly rise into the people we've always dreamed of being? That's what our theme is going to be about this next year. We are going to step into a grand rising together. And not just here at this center, all of the centers for spiritual living around the world, this is our theme. There's a collective of consciousness that we're participating in, calling in this idea. And so today is New Year's Eve, right? Tomorrow, New Year, new month, new date, new start. Really, in truth, it's just an arbitrary date change, right? Yesterday, today, tomorrow. It happens every day. And yet, our global collective consciousness has this agreement that it's a new start, right? And all the feedback loops of perception, when you write your checks, when you look at your phone, when you turn on the news, when you look at the calendar, starting tomorrow, all the feedback loops around you are going to tell you it's a brand new world, a brand new day, a brand new year. And so we can ride the wave of that collective idea and say, you know what? I'm going to step into being something new this year. Who do you want to be in this year of grand rising? What do you want to call forth? Who do you want to become? What do you want to experience? What's the world that you want to live in? And as I've said before, look at the grand rising that's already taking place. Look at all the pain, all the discomfort, all the problems of the world that are rising up around us everywhere we look. In all that is up, there's an invitation for each one of us telling us who we truly want to be. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. And I want you just to think about this coming year. What kind of person do you want to be? What kind of shift or change would you like to make starting tomorrow? What if this year of Grand Rising was a brand new day? Every day you have the opportunity to start anew. Who would you choose to be? And just think to yourself, what is the big shift that you need to make for yourself, for the world, for your community, in service to life or the planet itself? Is there one thing that you could commit to making a shift or a change this year? Who do you want to be in this year of Grand Rising? Spirit is calling you to be more than you've ever been before. The invitation is right in front of you. Are you ready to say yes? And so as you hold your intention for yourself, maybe place a hand on your heart as you just take a moment to silently commit to being the best version of you, to rising into the you that you are meant to be. Because what I know is that if each one of us says yes to that which is calling us, collectively we can activate a world that works for everyone. We can bring about new possibilities, new thoughts, new ways of being. If each one of us does our work individually, we become a collective of people who are making waves of change in the world. And so as we hold these intentions, I invite us each to just take another deep breath in. And as we breathe, I remind us that there is one seamless presence that is living and breathing throughout the entirety of the universe. It is this one that is unfolding in, through, and as everyone and everything, every when, everywhere. One life breathing all of existence. One life dreaming through each one of our minds. One life creating through our bodies, our hands, our feet, our words into the world. So this year, let each one of us commit to being the greatest possible channels for Spirit to create something new in the world. Let each one of us open to be agents of evolution and possibility. Let each one of us open to be love, to be creativity, to be light, to be healing, to be the wholeness that the world needs. Let each one of us open ourselves wholly and completely so that the light of God can shine through our eyes as we walk in the world, so that we see that truth looking back at us in everyone we meet. Let us remember that the earth beneath our feet is sacred. Let us remember that all life is sacred. Let us remember that we are one global human family and that we are here to rise this year into a new state of being, that we are calling in a vision of a world that works for everyone. We are calling in a community of action. We are calling in lives of prosperity and possibility and abundance and health and wellness. Let us call in everything that we want for ourselves and know that that is our prayer for every living person on this planet. Let us be a people who are here for the healing. Let us open ourselves up to be the greatest versions of ourselves. Because what I know is that the something more is calling us. Each one of us are being lured towards our greatest possibility. And what I know is that all the conditions of the world that are rising up around us are the invitation asking us if we are ready to say yes to who we are meant here to who we came here to be. Because when we make the shift, when we step into the change, when we claim that which we are here for, we become part of the solution. And I am ready, my friends, for us to dream a world that works, to be a place where that shift and that change happens. And so I just speak a word of gratitude for this community, for who we are, for who we are becoming, for this year of living out loud and all that we have done, for all that we've been able to do together as we've stepped out into the community, as CSL Santa Cruz has already become more than it's ever been before, and we're just getting started. Because we have a year of grand rising ahead of us, and there is so much more calling us. We can't even see it yet, but it's on the horizon, and we are headed in that direction. So let us in gratitude surrender wholly and completely in this moment, remembering that the something more, that seamless presence, that power for good that is driving evolution, that has been at work for 14 billion years, is now at work on purpose, awake and alive through and as each one of us. And that this community is awakening to the something more. So let us say yes as we open ourselves to step into a whole new year, a whole new way of being, and open to the possibilities. And so take another deep breath in and let it go. Let's take another deep breath together, letting it go. One more. Breathe in. And so it is.